Reconstruction policies. The Reconstruction policies is what we're thinking.
What William T. Sherman begun, we ended.
Yes.
we brought full circle.
William T. Ossoff is going, or John.
William T. Ossoff? Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
John Sherman. General John Sherman's march.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we get like shouted out of Georgia, if anyone ever heard this.
78% Warnock. Oh my god.
Chased
Kelly
out.
Loeffler. I bet she's feeling fucking pissed off right now.
Yeah, she's just gonna go back to that mansion. It's gonna be very depressing.
Yeah, well, no, she's not. She doesn't care, probably. She has like billions.
Yeah, like literally
Is Charles still a server muted?
Charles! No, he's not. Charles, welcome! How are you feeling tonight?
We brought you back on right now.
Welcome back.
At these updates, it's looking very, very interesting.
And looking, I've called it for the Democrats right now.
I've also called
You've called it for the Democrats?
Yeah.
I'd say it's also they've kept their lead really close. It's definitely close, and I if it's anything like November, and they're gonna count their early votes late, then I think it's definitely looking very, very good for the Democrats.
Yeah, the remaining votes are just so many tens of thousands in Atlanta, and
I just want to say,
only 35% in DeKalb.
I want to say in the Tufts group chat. I want to say in the Tufts group chat, like right now, I'm calling it. Ossoff and Warnock are winning, and see, like people are just gonna be like, "Don't jinx it, don't jinx it." Like that's what I think is gonna happen. But
Yeah, do that. You should post that link in. Yeah, everyone's lib everywhere in college except like
Turnout seems way lower though. Way
I
lower.
would say way lower. I'd say a little lower.
We had 4.2 million. I want to say 4.4 million.
Total votes.
3.2.
Do you think Republicans in your state?
3.2 is 70%.
Charles, do you think Republicans in your state were actually like turned away by Trump and thinking the election was fake?
Oh, honestly, no. I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people were pretty loyal to the Republican Party still and still voted. Regardless of, because also Trump was in Georgia in Dalton last night, and he urged people to vote, even with the idea that it was rigged. And one thing that he did, he pushed this narrative that if they got, I don't know if you saw it at his speech last night. He pushed this idea that if they got these two senators in, they would have a way better chance of then overturning the Electoral College results on when are they doing? When is the Senate going into?
Tomorrow, I said.
Certify them? Tomorrow, yeah. So they say he was basically pushed this idea that Kelly Loeffler.
So the best of both worlds there, yeah. And they both.
Vote.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, she had her like psycho pointing speech.
Mm-hmm.
So the Democrats led by 36 percentage points in November, and they now lead by 43 points.
That's good.
Whoa.
Taking those votes everywhere you can get them, baby. 78% of the votes have been reported.
Does
And
anyone have
Charles
a
in
map?
Cobb County.
Yes, county by county map.
CNN has a map as well.
CNN.
Here, I'll send in the chat right here. There it is.
Yeah, we need the Georgia
I think
breakdown.
Fox News has actually like a live counter. You can like watch by the single digits go up
Really?
on
That's
Fox
cool.
News. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we gotta get.
We've
We don't know about the.
Appling coffee. Go ahead.
We gotta pay. Like we're missing out on the Fox News election coverage because we never go to Fox News. Us liberals.
That's true. I think
Oh,
Fox
yeah,
News is becoming
true.
more liberal. Is that not?
No, like
It's a bunch of communists now.
they're just not,
Yeah,
they're
they're a
just
bunch of
not
communists
being
now.
crazy about this one.
Yeah.
Leffler will make
Okay,
remarks.
Ossoff is now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Leffler's going to make remarks around 11 p.m. So we will not be around.
All right.
God.
What I was gonna
Oh,
say. Oh shit. Never mind.
It's gonna be something to witness.
Yes, she's going to be like something like, "Oh my gosh, we are not conceding Georgia."
I
What
would
if
not
she
be. I
says
actually
it's
would not
rigged?
be
What if
surprised
she
at
says
all.
it's like completely
No.
rigged against her, and then she wins in like the late mail-ins? Like
That's something they could do. That's something they
how
could
does she
do.
do it now?
They could just stop. They could legitimately stop the count. I feel like.
Stop the count.
They could stop the count.
There's
Stop.
no way they're stopping the count.
Like if they could, they would have done it in the general.
The Georgia Secretary of State Trump has like brought so much onto his family. Like I bet he wants like Trump to just
No,
be
but he's
fucked
he's a
over by
Brian
this.
Kemp guy. Like he comes from the
No,
Brian
Brad
Kemp school of
Raffin's
voter suppression.
Yeah, Brad
Like,
Rafferty.
That's the thing.
I'm sure Brian Kemp like was totally divided on his fucking loyalty. I'm sure he hates Trump now too, but and honestly, I bet they wanted the Republicans to win just because they want like a Republican Senate, but I don't think they would swing the election to Trump or anything, or like.
Oh my god,
Yeah, I
I'm
doubt that's
being
gonna
forced to
happen.
listen to live Mark Levin when I open up Fox News. That's a bad advertisement.
I'm not even doing it. I can't.
This has been stolen. I hate this so much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think the big story could be just like Republicans not. I mean, like those Republican counties maybe not turning out just as
Sorry, I have to
strongly.
cut you off here.
Oh.
I'm really sorry.
We
got
have
someone
James
in
Stanley
here.
returning finally for late
No
entrance.
way. Welcome, James. Welcome, James.
James,
James,
come
how's
hit
it?
us.
How's it looking?
Give us the breakdown. What are you feeling?
Looking pretty good right now. I've been looking for the last couple hours, and for the viewers who are probably wondering, what the hell was James doing for the last 2 hours? Well, I was doing some calculations here, and after I finished my calculations, I'm pretty much proud to say I think the Democrats will be able to take back the U.S. Senate from Moscow Mitch. And KKK Kelly can go back to the KKK clan that she came from. So
That's
by
an
the
official
way,
SWRN call James Stanley has made. I feel
Are we
comfortable
calling it?
saying
You're
it.
calling it SWN?
Yep.
SWRN calling it. Playing that sound again.
Excellent.
All right. All right. So yeah, what is giving you that impression, James? Let's hear the breakdown.
well, the large turnout by the African American vote right now is quite, astonishing, to be honest with you. I mean, you gotta give props to Stacey Abrams and the Fair Vote Project for getting these voters out in not only margins that we saw in the general election, but actually 4% larger than what we saw in the general. So we had an increase of the African American vote, which is quite astonishing given the fact that runoffs usually across all boards, besides white, wealthy, go out and vote. So I definitely will say that it's looking very good for the Democrats because they are making some very, very strong margins right now in Atlanta and the suburbs, the counties around Atlanta right now. Even though the Republicans are in the lead right now, you have to recognize that a lot of the areas where there's heavy votes still left to count in regards to how many votes, what I mean by heavy is that there are a lot of votes left in certain areas, and the certain areas that there are a lot of votes left in are the more Democrat leading areas that, Fulton County is going 5% more to Ossoff than it was in the general. Ossoff only won Fulton County with 68% of the votes. He is currently at 74%. So he is doing much better there than he did in the general. And I blame that for the fact that they ran good messaging. Okay, Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff ran messaging of, $2,000 checks. We will do good things, good things for you. And they stayed away from the fear tactic campaign. Now, in regards to the fear tactic campaign, do I think it works? I think I would not try it just because, in this race, for example, it doesn't seem to be working. But then again, that also is because there's certain, external factors like, Trump's fraud claim and a lot of the other Republicans just not feeling comfortable to vote because they kind of are, many of them think, in their opinion, that it'll be fraud, but there's no, proof to state that claim whatsoever. It's all conspiracy theories spread by Trump as a reason why he, basically lost a democratically elected election against Joe Biden. But overall, this is looking very good for the Democrats. I'm quite pleased and a little bit shocked, to be honest, because I was imagining that, Ossoff would not win because Perdue is doing better than Kelly Loeffler right now. He's doing 0.4% better. He is, my calculations were right. Perdue is doing better than Loeffler. I'm happy to that. And, I'm very pleased as well, though, with the strong numbers that we're seeing in the African-American areas and in the suburbs around Atlanta that are, more majority white, college-educated voters that we actually saw in the 2020 presidential election with Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think something about Ossoff just really appealed to those suburban voters, even a little bit more than Joe Biden, which is frankly pretty insane. And yeah, so this is two great tweets from Dave Wasserman from Redistrict. First of all, he says that he has frankly seen enough in the Warnock-Loeffler race, and Warnock has won that race against Loeffler, is what he says, and James and SWRN here agreeing with that. But some 3 points from him about the state of the race right now. Black turnout, he says, looks frankly phenomenal, so that is going to be so important. And is going to be a roadmap for Democrats to win in the southern states in the future. Perdue and Loeffler are approaching Trump numbers of the vote in a lot of deep red rural counties, but the turnout there isn't anything special. It wasn't the phenomenal turnout that we saw for Republicans and Democrats across the board in November. And he says, and this is, of course, before he called the race for Warnock, he said it's getting harder to see a path for either or, but especially for Loeffler. So that is the kind of state of the race there right now. I think it really, what is very fascinating is how much like the fact of a direct incentive worked. I do have to say, I remember at the very beginning of this race, reading David Dayen of the American Prospect, is like kind of a left winger writer, is like, I think that Georgians would really vote for the Democrats if they said, vote for me to get those $2,000 checks. And about halfway through the campaign, that's what they did. And it really looks like that incentive-based like structure actually turned some people out.
Yeah, it really does. I think, honestly, it's quite astonishing given the fact, and I think what also really went in the Democrats' favor quite heavily is the fact that, Joe Biden's win, I think, gave a lot of African-American voters hope that they could actually go out and vote and their vote would make a difference. And I think that also goes back to what I was saying earlier with Stacey Abrams' Fair Vote Project, because they turned out a lot. I mean, I will give credit to the Ossoff and especially the Warnock campaign. They did amazing grassroots campaigning in the African-American communities,
it's a huge deal.
Even though, Kelly Loeffler was basically pulling, the 1960s book against Reverend Warnock, basically using Reverend King, racist remarks, saying he's a Marxist, he's against the police, he's going to destroy America. It's flat out racist, the attacks that she was putting out against Warnock. And I got to say one thing. Excuse my language, but she's going to get her ass kicked tonight by the African American vote because of all the crap that she put onto Warnock. I mean, she really just literally wrote her death note tonight, and over the campaign, that is. But tonight, it's just going to be the signature that's going to be put on the note that, quite frankly, she deserves.
Yeah, so that is definitely a very, very, very fascinating thing. You guys, I'm taking up too much time. You guys weigh in here. If Kenan was going to say something.
Agree. I totally agree. I think it's still going to be close, but I think they're both going to go for the Democrat.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be close. But here's the question: how close?
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the momentum that this pushes forward in potential other southern states. I'm talking Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri.
And legislatively.
And Missouri used to be a Democrat state, actually.
It did.
Of all states, yeah.
But I think that's very different because
Missouri almost went blue in 2008.
The way you win there is a lot more like kind of white working class, isn't it? It's not more suburban. There's not a big suburban pool. That the way the Democrats
Jason
are
Kander's
really
a good example.
The way the Democrats are set up now, they can really only go for that suburban pool. Like they can't really go for the more white working class people anymore. Like they just have completely lost that ability. I think that's probably going to be very tough. But if there's something like
for sure.
If there's a comparable state where there's like this big city with some suburbs out there where it can really draw that support, because again, like the black population, only 33% of the voting electorate, so they can't all rely on just turning out the black vote.
Missouri is, I think, unique in the aspect that it has St. Louis, and the St. Louis suburbs are very affluent. It's almost like a little bit kind of like Georgia with Atlanta, with all the urban professionals. And
that's
a
true.
lot of money in that area, which makes me think Missouri is definitely different from somewhere like Iowa, which does not have any of that, or like Arkansas, which doesn't have that. So I think that there are other targets for states that are like structured similarly to Georgia and North Carolina that we could go after. And I'm thinking Missouri and Louisiana and Texas are good examples of that.
Yeah, I think North Carolina to start to flip that would definitely be something that's certainly should be in the Democrats' target. Like, we were discussing this before, and none of us really knew, James. Like, what is the